Okay, so before we start, we will introduce ourselves. I am Edward Gilbert, the sales manager in charge of the English-speaking countries at ENI, and right next to me sits Adeline Conquet, who is also part of the ENI sales team.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome.
During this webinar, we will start by giving you a brief overview of the Office 365 environment, followed by a presentation of a new e-training, along, of course, with a demo. At the end of the demo, we'll be keeping some time for the question and answer in case you have any. Before we get down to the contents, will Adeline say a few words about who we are and the company so that you know precisely who we are and what we do.
Thank you, Edward. So as you said, just a short introduction of the company ENI, which some of you might already know. ENI is a group created over 35 years ago. The group consists of three main entities in permanent synergy. First one, ENI is first a school offering bachelor and master level IT courses. We also have several IT training centers, mostly situated in the western part of France, another one in Nice and in Paris, of course. And finally, ENI is also a publishing house which creates IT training content as printed and digital books, online libraries, videos, course materials, and of course, e-learning courses.
Thank you, Adeline, for the presentation of the group ENI. Then, before we get down to the presentation, well, we've all known a lot about, we've all heard a lot about Office 365, obviously, but it's not always easy to know exactly what it is. A quick summary of Office 365 would be that it's a collaborative work platform which will provide a variety of applications to work online with, of course, the aim of working together and obviously better. Just to start with, we'd like to make a quick survey just to know your whereabouts about Office 365. You will see appearing on your screen three questions. Do you already work with Office 365? Yes, no, but we have a migration project, or no, and we do not have a migration project. If you could please fill in the answer, that'd be lovely, so that we have a quick view of where you are right now. Just leaving you a few seconds to answer the questions, and then we'll close the survey. Thank you. Let's close the survey now. So obviously, most of you have already migrated or have a migration project, which is pretty interesting, and I suppose it's logical since you are here. Okay, thank you very much for your time on this. So basically, Office 365 can be divided into different categories of applications. Some are meant to work online and some are meant to work together. Let's review quickly the different applications that we have available. Onedrive is one of the most interesting possibilities of Office 365, with the possibility to use an online storage facility for you to store your documents, but also to be able to share documents with people in your company and outside. Obviously, Skype maybe doesn't need to be introduced, as it's been on the market already for a long time, even before Microsoft bought it out a few years ago, but it's meant for communication. We then have all the mobile or online tools of the Office mobile or Office online tools to be able to use and to do the regular homework and work at the office. Remember always that the online versions of this application provide less features than the on-premises applications. Then we move on to the second part, which are the tool to be able to work together. We have, of course, Sharepoint Online, which is a very interesting tool to create a team site containing documents library, We also already have Teams, which is also a very interesting application introduced by Microsoft to create team, to be able to work together, share spaces for conversation or files. And we also have OneNote, which can be interesting to share, to take down notes and to share them with your co-workers. So obviously Office 365 raises a lot of questions, as it's obviously a large amount of possibility in terms of application. It's not always easy to know exactly how to train the users, how to approach the new tools, knowing that depending on your on which subscription you have, you may not always have all the tools, but only have some of them. So of course the question is, which app do I need to use, when, how to learn them, and everything, and many questions that we'd like to answer with our e-training. So based on this analysis, we have tried to develop an e-training which is really centered on the usage of the users. Therefore, we try to present comprehensive content with contents that will be either a video tutorial, use cases, or learnings through practice with hands-on exercises directly in the application, so that the user really learn what they will be using on their daily basis. To prepare this course, we have obviously analyzed the uses and the application which are most frequently used for Office 365. The idea is to concentrate on the user and their needs. Therefore, the videos and the exercises will focus on the apps that are used by 95% of the users. The idea is that the content of the training will be truly useful for the standard user of Office 365. The idea is that they don't need to worry about minor features that they won't use. Therefore, the result is that we get shorter videos that go straight to the point. We try to develop more engaging videos as well, so that the user does not feel overwhelmed and that they can see that the training concretely responds to their needs of their daily work. I will now pass the word to Adeline, who will introduce you with the use cases of the e-training.
Thank you. So to go on, as Edward just said, we're going to talk about our use cases. We noticed that after a company has moved to Office 365, its collaborators who have followed the training are not always able to use the new working processes learned during this training. That's the reason why we identified the most frequent and the most innovative uses to shape our scripts. We wanted to maximize the comprehension and the instructional impact. The aim of these use cases is to learn in an efficiently fun, dynamic, and educational way. To do so, we have created an entire visual, sound, and graphic universe that you will discover during the demonstration that we're going to give you. The learner is caught into the game and follows the story from the beginning to the end. The use cases are organized in 4 modules in order to respond to 4 things, such as working mobile, or organizing and leading a remote meeting, communicating and sharing information, or even working together on a project. Each use case responds to a specific need. They are all structured in the same way, in 3 parts. You first have the context. Using an example, we only show the example in the demonstration. We do not explain the various options, but simply those used to respond to a specific need. This enables the learner to go straight to the point, the aim being to create new daily work processes. And the last part is in a summary part, which highlights the points to remember and that are essential for good learning. Finally, the most important point about the use cases, we thought them out like stories. The characters are the same throughout all the cases, the sales and technical managers, the clients, etc. We place them in different daily working situations. They will organize their notes and their work for a call for tenders project in Teams, or take notes collaboratively in OneNote, or even go to appointments with a client taking their tablet, etc. The learners can therefore relate to the characters, which is easier for him to, to understand the situations, which makes the course fun and accessible. I'll let Edward introduce you our Media Plus interface.
Well, thank you, Adeline, for the introduction of the use cases. Let's move on to the Office 365 e-training directly into our portal. So each user of the training can actually connect to the training through the portal, which is can be accessed through any like, for example, Edge or also Chrome. The access is available with a username and password, and I will connect right now with my own. It can be protected also, of course, with the password. Once you've done so, you enter in your learning space, where you will find all the information and all the training passes and the programs that have been dedicated to you by the users, by the administrator, sorry, I mean. The user will see either unlimited resources or specific learning programs. The unlimited resources are a digital library called Eureka, which is not the purpose of today. And then we also have the different training program that can be offered by E&I, like, for example, on Excel 2016 or Word 2016. And of course, we have this new Office 365 e-learning that we will be showing you today. So today is just a preview of the Office 365 e-learning. It's not fully finalized. It will be the case by the end of October or beginning of November, but we can already show you quite many things. So you see here the various modules that will be available for the learners. You see for the moment 4 components. I'll get back to it right after the demonstration to show you that there should be actually more than that, and we'll review them quickly, which are the ones that will be finalized by the end of the month or beginning of next month. So the current modules already show you a good approach of what will be available. You first have the training called Media Plus e-learning, which will be hands-on training directly in the environment. And you also have below the video tutorial like Outlook Online, and we also have the possibility to see the use cases. You see here in purple the one that will be with practical exercises, and in blue the one that will be video based. So if you click on one of the purple one, you will actually have the ability to launch an access with a remote desktop access. The idea is that you will actually be opening a session on a server that will be hosting the Office 365 environment. The idea being that the learner will be able to train directly into the environment, and therefore for more efficient learning to be able and that's the usual demo effects that you cannot connect. Let's try again to see if it's working better. So it's obviously, as you could see, a Citrix-based training server. Sorry. So the idea is, as I mentioned, to be able to open this distant access where you will be able to find the Office 365 environment directly on the computer. So basically, the idea is that the user also doesn't need to have the Office 365 already installed on this platform. It's possible to learn before you actually get an access to the Office 365 environment. That's fully possible. As I mentioned earlier, you can do this with various browsers. I'm right now using Edge, but it's also possible with Chrome, with Firefox, or with Safari if you're a Mac user. You can see here so the different topics that will be offered to the user, the learner. We see the different chapters that are available. we have the possibility to see different topics, as each chapter will break down into different topics. You see the time that is meant for the user to do the training, and you see how much they have done and how much good they have done, knowing that each topic in green will mean that they have done successfully, and if it's not the case, it would actually be in red, knowing that you can always get back to the training. Any training is always open. You have the possibility to come back, whether it's good or wrong. The training is always open for you. If I click on it, I then come into the environment that I was mentioning about just a bit before. So the Office 365 environment will actually be opening, and the user will be able to train directly in the environment. This means that basically the user can use any answer he likes, in the way that they can use right clicks, or they can use the menus, or they can use the keyboard shortcuts if they know them. The idea of the software is really to be able to manipulate the software as much as possible. Everything is open, and everything is accessible just like you would like it to be in a real environment. If you click on it, you can go directly into it. Really, the idea is to be able to for the user to learn directly in the environment as if they were working on it. You see, for example, here we have created fake users, so that the users can pretend and train as if they were really working. So the way the learning will take place is in 4 steps. The first steps being that you will first of all watch a lesson, and then go into an exercise. To watch the lesson, you just click on the video. So the video actually, for the moment, not for the moment, we cut the sound for the purpose of this demonstration, but obviously the video are with sound. They are also with subtitles that you can actually remove if you like. So if they disturb the users, they can at any time remove the subtitles and just hear the sound. But in case they actually don't have sound, just like me for today, they can actually put them back in case they're working in a loud environment. It's also possible, and they don't have anything to hear sound. It's also possible to follow the video with the subtitles. Each video will then cover a few points on a topic. The user has a possibility to click directly into the information that they like to gather. They also have the possibility to search for keywords. They will have all the content of the video, which will then appear for them to review if they like. And once they have seen the videos, they will then have the exercise that will appear. Once you've done so, you have the possibility to, as I mentioned, do the manipulation directly into the applications, and then you just need to confirm your answer to see if your manipulation was correct or not. You then have 2 different possibilities. Either you actually knew what to do and you've made a mistake and you know what the mistake was, then you just need to start again, and I mean you will refresh the page from the beginning to be able to do the exercise again. Or the other possibility would be that you actually don't know what you've done wrong, and you then have another possibility, which would be to see the solution with another video, which will then really specifically cover the manipulation that you should have been doing directly in the software. We saw earlier that the training video actually covers a few topics, and this video there only covers the topic of the exercise, so that you will be able to do correctly the job. In that case, you then only have to do start again and to do then correctly the points. Once you exit the exercises, you will come back to your training page, and you will see that you've done, for example, correctly here the exercises 1, 2, 3, and of course, as we just did see, the one that we did not do correctly then appears in red. It also shows here that you've done 100% of this chapter, but only 75% correctly. If I move here down to the next chapter, I see that I've already done 2 different topics. And if I click on the next one, so first of all, as I mentioned, I have always the possibility to come back to one that I already did. For example, I'm doing now topic number 2 that I already did before, and I can come back on it if I like. The idea is that if you've moved on maybe with your training, and then you are faced with your daily usage on something that you can't remember, you have the possibility to come back on your exercise, knowing that every time it will be the last thing that you do in the training that will actually be saved. So it means if you've done it correctly for the first time, you do it a second time, you do it this time it's wrong, well, obviously it will be in red after you've done the exercise. So let's try to do it correctly this time. So I'm asked to do create a new folder in OneDrive space and to add a file to this folder. So let's click on OneDrive, for example, now. And let's see how we can create a new folder that we will be calling projects. Folder is now here. Let's enter a name. Oops, my mistake. And let's, in this folder project, create well, actually not create, but rather add a new document file, any exercise, saves, a topic is open, there we go, and then confirm your answer. So we have done, for example, here correctly the training, and it's been considered as good, and it's therefore green. Another type of topic that you will be also able to find in the training will be the you need to know topics, where we actually cover some topics that will not be done in a practical way, but rather explaining, for example, a bit of vocabulary, or explaining also some of the topics that you need to know to use the Office 365 application. And in that case, the user will be able to read and see some explanation that they will be then able to use directly in their training after that. So let me now exit again. So we see here that we've done again this, so this doesn't change since it was correct in the first place, and it is also correct in the second place. And that's the way the learning will be working with the different media plus e-learning training, so directly into the application. Once I'm done with this, I can come back to my training. So this will actually disconnect my remote access. So we were here in the Office 365 application. It would be exactly the same idea with Skype, knowing that we will open a distant access on a Skype environment and be training in there with practical skills exercises. The other possibility that we then offer are, for example, this Outlook tutorial. Outlook Online will then be a few tutorial videos. Let me close this for better viewing. So you actually see different chapters with short videos for the users to directly go on, as I mentioned earlier, straight to the point and being able to train very quickly. The idea that the user can follow a video and also may have the possibility to take down notes or create bookmarks as well, to be able to find them very quickly again later on. If they want to do so, they just need to click here, save their notes, and once they've done so, if they come back to training later on and click on the notes and bookmark here, they will be able to see very quickly all the videos or the tutorial on which they have taken down notes earlier. The other possibility is also the use cases that Adeline mentioned to you earlier today. You see here as well the different possibility and the four topics that are covered with the use case that also Adeline mentioned before. You see here different possibilities, and I think the best way to actually show you and so that you have a good idea of these use cases will be to show you a live example. So I will be showing you a complete use case video of about 4 minutes, so that you can see for yourself. This video will last 4 minutes, so in case you already have some questions following what I've shown before, do not hesitate to type them in. So we'll get down to the question right after this video. Thank you very much, and we'll hear it each again after the video.
As a sales representative, you are often out of the office and working mobile. For practical reasons, you always take your tablet with you. You therefore need to be able to view and edit your files, and to give presentations using your tablet. Thanks to the Office 365 OneDrive and PowerPoint applications, you can access the files you need in order to work out of the office, but also edit them and project them in order to highlight your assets and adapt your speech to the client's needs. With your smartphone or tablet, you can use the online applications or the mobile applications, which are better suited to the small screens of this kind of device. With Microsoft's Surface tablet, you can also use the standard applications. For example, you have an appointment with a potential client to present your products and services. You know that your client can provide you with an internet connection, and you bring your tablet in order to give the presentation. In order to access the PowerPoint presentation during the appointment with your client, you must upload it to your OneDrive space beforehand. To do so, log into your Office 365 account using the device on which the presentation is saved. Open OneDrive to access your storage space, and open the folder concerning your client. Click or tap Upload and Files. Then select the presentation concerned, and click or tap Open. You can also drag the document from the File Explorer into your OneDrive space. If the synchronization between your OneDrive space and your computer is active, you can also drag the file from its original storage folder into the File Explorer's OneDrive folder. Before the appointment, you may decide to check your presentation. Open your tablet's OneDrive application and open the presentation located in your online storage space. While looking through the presentation in the PowerPoint application, you notice that the date on the third slide is incorrect. When you edit the date, the changes are automatically saved to your OneDrive space. Once with your client, first ensure you are connected to the internet. Open the OneDrive application and open the presentation. Change to presentation mode in order to show the presentation to your client directly on your tablet. If your tablet screen is too small for the number of people, you may project the presentation on another screen using an adapter or the AirPlay feature when using an iPad. In summary, in order to work on files while out of the office and give a presentation to a client on a tablet, firstly, check that your tablet has the following mobile applications: OneDrive to access your files and view them online, and PowerPoint to edit the slides according to your client's needs. Secondly, do not forget to upload the files you may need to your OneDrive space beforehand.
Okay, so now we're back to the demonstration. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video of the use case, so that you had a good idea of what you will be able to use and offer to your user or learners. I'm now done with the presentation of the environment itself. I will just quickly now come back on the content that will be actually available very soon. So basically right now we have the Office 365 environment which is available here. We have also Skype, we have Outlook Online, and we have the use cases. The video tutorial, Teams, OneNote, and Office Online will be available very soon, as well as discovering and uses of Office 365. We will be interestingly the Office 3 Online videos will be focusing on the various differences between the online version and the on-premises version, as well as the possibility of working together on a document. We will also be highlighting the OneNote 2016 application, which will be also have very cool features for the users, as well as Team. As I mentioned, it's a very interesting application now for Office 365.
So we hope you enjoyed the demonstration. Before we move to the QA, just a quick remark. At the end of this webinar, you will be asked a few questions. If you could just give us a minute to answer them, that would be wonderful. Thank you in advance. We already have 2 questions. Edward, the first one is whether our e-training can fit into an LMS.
So the answer is yes, of course. Each of our training can actually be used as a SCORM file, and therefore also be imported into an LMS that will be following the SCORM format. It's a very simple way of working as well. The idea that with this SCORM file, the user will actually auto-connect to our training from their LMS platform, and once they've done working, the information will be sent back to the LMS. So for any company or school or university who is working with an LMS, it's also a very convenient way of working with our e-training.
Thank you for this answer. And secondly, could you tell us whether the content can be adapted?
So it's possible, actually. As you saw, there are many topics covered in the e-training. As I mentioned, there are different subscriptions with Office 365, so maybe some of the applications are actually not in your subscription. It's very possible to actually take out the applications that are not in your subscription, and therefore to adapt the content of the training. It's also feasible with the Scrum package. It's no problem. We just remove the application that is not used in your company or in your university, and we then put at your disposal the right content that you need for your users. So that's not a problem as well.
Great, thank you.
Are there any other questions, maybe? No? Okay. So we want to thank you for being with us today. Oh, okay. Sorry. Which languages? I'm going too fast. So there will actually be 5 languages. We obviously have it in the complete training now ready in French and German. The English version, as I mentioned, will be ready by the end of this month or beginning of November. It will be the same for the Dutch version, and end of November will then come the Spanish version, which will also be available as well. Any other question? You're welcome. Thank you for being here with us today. We'll send you some information following the webinar, as well as a test access, in case you'd like to have one. You see also our email address on the screen there. Do not hesitate to drop us an email if you have any questions or remarks following today's webinar. Thank you very much for your time, and we hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.